Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. James chapter 1, starting in verse 2 says, "Consider it all joy, my brothers, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith brings about perseverance. And let perseverance have its perfect work, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." Here we see perseverance's perfect work. Perseverance has a way of causing us to become perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. But this traces back to the testing of our faith as we encounter various trials. And here James says you should consider it all joy, because what those trials are doing is they're testing your faith, but out of that is coming perseverance, and that perseverance will lead you to become complete. And the reason why this happens is because a person who goes through trials and difficulties and hardships become less and less dependent on their circumstances. As a person has gone through a lot of rough stuff and they've gone through it trusting in the Lord, and yes, sometimes doubting and sometimes being challenged by their faith, but yet they hold on to their faith and they see the Lord pull them through, and they just get into this mode of just trusting in the Lord, and things are very difficult and hard, and they're going through that. All of a sudden now they're acquiring this perseverance that causes them to become less and less dependent on their circumstances. As they become stronger in faith, they're not having to rely so much on everything going perfect and everything going right, because they can endure. They can go through trials and hold on to their faith, still trust in the Lord, and go through those trials a lot easier than a person who had not been tested and had not gone through the trials. And this is very important, because the less and less we are dependent on our circumstances, the more and more the Lord can use us. If we're always being bounced around by our circumstances, if every time, the first time something goes wrong, we give up on our faith, or we walk away from the work that the Lord's having us do, and we just have no perseverance, we just can't even endure a hard day, without falling apart. If we have absolutely no perseverance and we're completely dependent on our circumstances, then the Lord's going to be limited in how he can use us. But you have a person who has tried and tested, they've been through the trials, they've seen the worst of it, they've gone through the fire, and they've come out refined as silver. They come out with their faith strengthened and emboldened, and they have this endurance, this perseverance that goes on through the most rugged terrain. Then the Lord says, you know what, I can use this person. I can put them in those difficult situations where I really need them to do a great work. And he can do that. And he can use us and utilize us in a lot more varied situations. A person who's never been tried, a person who perhaps has never been really tested in their faith, hasn't quite yet achieved that perseverance yet. And so they're a little bit more, if not a lot more, dependent on their circumstances, because they haven't really gone through the trials and difficulties that allows them to have the perseverance to really go the long mile. And so the Lord has to work with them. He has to strengthen their faith. Like with exercising, you have to have resistance to grow your muscles and make them stronger and to achieve endurance. Same thing is true with our faith. The more and more we exercise it through trials, the more and more we meet resistance in this life, the stronger it becomes, and our capacity to do things for the Lord increases. And we're not as dependent on our circumstances and the situations we're in, because we have our eyes looking to the Lord, and our faith is strong and bold and confident as we enter into trials. So when we encounter trials, we can look at this as kind of like an exercise. This is an opportunity for us to grow. It's an opportunity for us to become stronger, to acquire endurance and perseverance, so that we can be more useful to the Lord, and we can become more perfect and complete, ready and equipped to do the work of the Lord in a variety of situations, and not be dependent on our circumstances in order to last it through the day. But we're able to be useful to the Master be able to be used by Him in effective ways and in varied ways, and be able to glorify Him in our day-to-day matters. So here's some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.